The second statement we will solve or we will prepare for question 7 is the statement showing amount which is due from or due to the underwriters. Okay, the amount that we are supposed to the underwriters are either supposed to pay to the company because they are purchasing their shares, or what the company is supposed to pay to the underwriters in the form of commission, right? So towards the end we will arrive at those figures, the net figures after setting off each other's balances, whatever are the net figures that each one has to pay the other, right? So we have arrived at these three amounts and we said that this is the total liability and the number of shares that each underwriter is going to take. So we bring this down to our statement for calculating the amount. Okay, so like I said, always double underline these amounts, separate them from the rest of the problem and do not include them in any of your calculations. Do not add them along with the other amounts. Okay, which is why I have written amount in rupees, because all of these amounts from now onwards are going to be in rupees. Okay. Now, since these many shares are to be taken by each underwriter, the very next thing we are supposed to figure is how much will they pay for each of the shares. Okay. Now, let's see what will be the amount for this particular problem. The application money or the allotment money will be provided to you somewhere. Okay. Let's take a look here. What other information we are yet to read. So, the underwriters had applied for number of shares covered by firm underwriting, which means if they have taken this much firm underwriting, that is 50,000 shares each, is what they said they will take as firm underwriting. So, what is the problem saying here? That they had applied for the number of shares covered by firm underwriting, meaning application money was paid for those shares, applied for, fine. The amounts payable on applications and allotment is 250 and 2 rupees respectively. 250 as in 2 rupees 50 paise, 2.50. So, application money is 2.50. That means when you are applying for the shares, you are supposed to pay this much. And when the shares are allotted to you, you are supposed to pay this much, right? The agreed commission was 2.5%. Let's come to commission a little later. Okay, for now we will just do the allotment and the application. We'll just take care of these two. Now let's see. So if we have these many shares to be taken by each underwriter, how much amount are they supposed to pay for those shares? Okay. Now there are two approaches to this and it's all based on assumption. It's like you can either say that only application money has been paid so far, so amount payable will be calculated at the rate of the application money, or you can consider that since allotment money is also given to you, right, 2.5 is application plus 2 rupees is allotment money. So you can say since these shares will be anyway purchased by the underwriters, right, the underwriters have to purchase them, isn't it? So in any case, this amount payable can be calculated at both application plus the allotment money. Is this clear to you? Okay. So what we can do is, we can take amount payable at rupees 4.50 and I'll write in the bracket where we got it from, 2.50 plus 2, rupees 2.50 plus rupees 2, which is both application plus allotment money. Is this clear? So what is the assumption here? That although these shares, these particular shares will be at some point or the other allotted, isn't it? They are going to be allotted to the underwriters. Is that fine? So we are considering both application money and the allotment money. Okay. Next is we are going to calculate how much was paid on the firm application. Now first of all, let's write this amount paid on amount payable on each one, that is for the shares that they have taken. So what are you going to do? 4.5 rupees into 50,000, like each one's liability you're going to keep multiplying. So 50,000 multiplied by 4.5, considering both application and allotment money, we have 2,25,000. We are saying this much will be paid by the underwriters to the company when they purchase these 50,000 shares. Is this clear? Then next one should also be the same because it is also 50,000 into 4.5. So 2,25,000. And finally, for Ashok, the liability will be slightly more because he has 1,03,000 shares to purchase at 4.50. So multiply it and get 4,63,500. Done? Now, out of these, what they are supposed to take, this is the liability, they are supposed to take these many shares. Out of this, they will, or they also have to purchase certain firm applications, or firm underwriting shares have to be purchased by them, isn't it? So now let's see what happens here is, in this problem it's given that these underwriters had applied for the number of shares covered by firm underwriting. They are not saying allotted. So normally when they only apply for the shares, right now they have just purchased the shares. Okay. So when they applied, they paid rupees 2.5. Not the entire amount, they have still not paid allotment money. They have just applied for the allotment. So it is, or applied for the shares, it is 2.5. Now 2.5 into what? Only firm applications. And how much is firm underwriting? This much. 50, 50, 50. Correct? So for each one, calculate 50,000 multiplied by 2.50 and you get 1,25,000. So it should be the same for all, isn't it? Because everybody's amounts are the same, right? 50,000. So this is again going to be the same for each one. Clear? Now calculate the balances. How much do you get after minusing? Anand is yet to pay 1 lakh, the balance that is payable for the shares that he has purchased. So 1 lakh he has to pay. Then again you have same figures. So 1 lakh which Vijay has to pay. The maximum has to be paid by Ashok, which is 3,38,500. Okay, his liability is a little more than the others. So now you have to calculate the underwriting commission. Okay, that is how much the company is supposed to pay to all these underwriters. So far, underwriters have to pay this much. Each one has to pay this much to the company. Now let's find out how much company owes to the underwriters and accordingly calculate. Let's see. A new working note. Underwriting commission. Okay. By now, the formula for underwriting commission should be very clear. So we have Anand, Vijay, Ashok. This is a very important working note that you have to solve. And formula is gross liability into issue price, okay, into rate of commission. Let's see what is the rate of commission. How much are we supposed to pay? Agreed commission was 2.5%. Okay, so rate Gross liability for each one we have here 5 lakh, 5 lakh and 5 lakh, correct. So, everybody's gross liability this time is the same. Percentage is 1, ratio is 1:1:1, correct. Now, what is issue price? The shares were issued at par. So, if 10 was the face value, issue price was also 10. Okay. Now, the rate of commission is 2.5%. Fine. Let's calculate accordingly. Each one, all three is going to be the same because their gross liabilities are the same, right. So, there is not a lot of calculation here. 5 lakh into issue price, which is 10 multiplied by 2.5%. Okay, you get 1,25,000 commission of each of the underwriters. I need not write it again. I am not going to write it again in the working note. I just put it here. 1,25,000 for each one. Done. So, this is the underwriting commission, and now we get to calculate how much is to be paid by whom. The company is supposed to pay underwriter, or the underwriter is supposed to pay to the company. So, look here, if you minus these two, like minus the commission from the balance, you get a negative figure. 1 lakh minus 125 will give you a negative figure of 25,000. Same way for the second one, negative figure 25,000. Alright, always remember, negative figure means the company has to pay to the underwriters, right, because the commission amount is more than what the underwriter is supposed to pay to you in the balance amount, right. Whereas only in case of Ashok, he is the one who has to pay to the company, right. So, this much amount is due, or it will be received from Ashok. So, 2,13,500. Is this clear? Yes. So, these amounts, these three amounts, very important. They tell you how much of the amount is to be paid by underwriters and how much is to be paid by the company to the underwriters. All right. So, that's your statement showing amount from or due to underwriters.